Welcome once again to the Performance Centre here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds. My name's Ryan Rastall, PGA professional here and equipment expert for Golfshake.com. Today we're going to put through their paces some of the newest and best game improver irons that have released in 2023 or carry over from last season. So I've got irons from Cobra, from Ping, from Callaway, from TaylorMade and from Wilson here as well, to hit on the Trackman, talk to you a little bit about the tech, and what we're going to show you as well is a comparison of which one goes the furthest, which one's the most accurate, and which one we think looks the best as well. So let's get hitting some of these. We're going to start with the TaylorMade Stealth Iron that released last year. So before we hit a few shots with the Stealth, what is a game improver iron? Because it's kind of a bit of a blurry kind of subject. I would always class it as an iron that's aimed at your sort of higher handicap golfer, one that's really forgiving, maybe not the most forgiving from each of the brands, but they're certainly well up there. Like I said, we're going to start with Stealth. 28 degrees this 7 iron, so it's pretty strong. It's pretty much what I would class a 5 iron as in terms of the loft. So let's hit a few and have a bit of a look. We have done separate reviews of this on the channel, so if you want to see just this iron, you can do that as well. But let's have a few hits here on the Trackman and see exactly what we think. In terms of looks, I really like it. It's quite a nice compact looking head. Top line's not absolutely massive. You can see a little bit of the mass on the sort of bottom edge of the golf club because of this wider sole. We've obviously got the slot technology in there that's going to make the club a little bit more kind of flexible as we strike it as well. It feels very powerful off the face, quite easy to get in the air, as you would imagine. Even at that 28 degree loft, there's plenty of mass down in the bottom of the head here, so it's really easy to launch. You can see I've hit 3 shots there now, all of them over the 200-yard mark, which is ridiculous for a 7 iron, but like I say, we're not really hitting a 7 iron, are we? Again, feels really good off the face, really nice and solid. Bit of a push there, a little bit shorter, but in terms of the feel off the club face, very, very good. We're going to hit 5 good strikes with each of these irons when we get going and compare all of them to see which one goes the furthest, which one's the straightest, and which one we like the look of the most. So let me hit a few more with these and then we'll move on. So now we move on to the brand new G430 iron from Ping. This one now 29 degrees. Again, looks quite similar in terms of the top line and the amount of the kind of back of the club we see in the amount of offset. There's a little bit on all these irons. But yeah, let's see how it feels and how I would say in terms of looks, it looks a bit slimmer, sat behind the ball. Top line's definitely noticeably a bit smaller, and I think it's because it's been kind of chamfered away a little bit there to kind of give that impression when you sit it down in the playing position. But yeah, still looks like a really nice iron. Let's hit a few shots with it. Certainly feels very powerful off the face. Similar kind of sound, I would say, to Stealth. More of a, a solid kind of feel that you get with this type of iron, and distance-wise, still pretty good too. A little bit further, but very, very high. These irons, easy to launch, which you'd think with the loft as low as it is, these irons would be quite difficult to get off the ground, but they're actually pretty easy because they've got loads of weight down low in the head to really help you launch it and get it in the air, which is generally what most game improvers want out of an iron. But in terms of the looks, I actually prefer this to the Stealth. I think sat behind the ball, it looks that little bit smaller and kind of a bit just nicer on the eye really when you sit it down. But I think I prefer the feel of the Stealth when I've hit that. But like I say, this one, much prefer the looks. But yeah, I just think the Stealth one just sounds a little bit better, sounds a bit more solid and sort of crunchy off the face when you hit it really. This one, completely different sound, seems to launch that little bit higher. Be interesting to see that when we look at the results. But yeah, really, really good performing iron in terms of the distance I'm hitting. It looks pretty good as well. But yeah, it doesn't quite feel as good as Stealth, but looks a little bit better. Now we're moving on to the new Paradym X iron from Callaway. So this is an iron we've already done a review of as well, so you can check that out on the channel if you want to watch this and the standard Paradym iron that we kind of compared. Paradym X, the most forgiving iron now in the Callaway iron range. Slightly wider sole, slightly thicker top line, but packed with technology as well. So loads of tungsten in the head here, again making the weight really low. So 27.5 degrees now, the loft of this. So of the ones we've tried so far, it's kind of middle of the road in terms of the loft. So let's hit a few here on the Trackman. I've hit one already, nice high draw there. It felt really good. Looks wise, I would say the top line on this is a little bit thicker than we've just seen with the G430, but kind of similar to Stealth. There's kind of a nice contrast between where the grooves are on the face, and it's a bit shinier than the Stealth, but yeah, it looks quite similar behind the ball. Again, feels very easy to hit, very easy to get in the air. Feels really good off the face as well. And obviously the technology Callaway use for feel is the urethane microsphere technology that we have in the head, which we've seen in quite a lot of the irons that they've brought out over the past few years. And it certainly does make it feel really, really good. It's just so easy to launch, so easy to get in the air. The next one on the list is the new Wilson DynaPwr iron. So we've also got some forgiveness in the power holes we've got here, but again, an iron that is made to be really forgiving. In the playing position there, we've got a thicker top line, bit of offset. This at 26.5 degrees. I've just measured this in the loft and lie machine because unfortunately at the moment, Wilson don't have the information on what loft it should be on their website. But this one, like I say, I've just measured in here, 26.5. So it's the strongest one that we've hit so far. Let's hit a few shots and see exactly how it compares with the others. But looks wise, definitely looks a little bit bigger, sat on the floor. We can see this bit of mass at the back of the golf club now. But, you know, I don't think it looks bad at all. I think it looks quite nice in the playing position, and let's see how it performs. First shot with it, really good distance, just pulled it a little bit left, but felt really, really nice off the face as well. And certainly whenever I've reviewed Wilson irons in the past, they always do feel and look really good. And again, another iron that's really easy to get in the air, really easy to flight, and just feels effortless to get the ball up in the air and also get some distance out of it as well. But we'd expect that with the loft that we're seeing on this now. So let's hit a few more. So the final iron we're going to hit today is the COBRA AeroJet. 26.5 degrees, the 7 iron in this. We did the review for this last week, and yeah, very, very strong iron. Remember it going a long way, easy to hit as well, and does look very strong when we sit it down behind the golf ball. Again, packed with technology, you know, with the power bridge in there to really stiffen the head and make sure the ball speed comes off really quick. We've got the hot face technology as well, and the sort of slight milling that we've got on there, which makes the iron look a little bit more premium, but yeah, loads of weight down the bottom of the head, which is why, well, one of the reasons why the iron's stronger lofted than we'd normally see. But in terms of looks behind the ball, I'd say it looks similar to the way that the Ping G430 did, in the way that it's a little bit slimmer top line, looks a little bit nicer behind the ball than the others, but let's see how it performs. So after hitting a few shots with this now, I would say feel-wise, to me, this one's the best. It feels very powerful off the face. I don't know why, I just prefer the sound that it makes as well compared to the others. A little bit straighter, not quite as long, but again, quite easy to hit. It was a little bit low on the face, that one, but it still launched quite nice and high. Now that we've had a chance to hit shots with all of these irons, let's take a little bit of a look at the numbers. We'll start with the dispersion, shall we? So if we look at all the irons there and where they've actually finished there on the outfield from the 5 good strikes that I've hit with each one, okay? We can see there that Stealth and AeroJet both very, very good. AeroJet, I was just turning it over a little bit, but I think that's more me than anything else. But in terms of the dispersion and where the balls were actually landing, very good. And one of the things I always find when hitting irons like this is they have the ability that you'll hit one that you think you've struck pretty badly and it'll go miles, and one that you think you've struck pretty well and it won't go as far. So there's a bit of inconsistency in the yardage, but certainly hitting those two, the Stealth and AeroJet, I wasn't getting any of those silly ones that jump and go absolutely miles. I did get that with DynaPwr, and also I got one with Paradym X that I hit as well that went absolutely crazy far compared to the others, which is something to consider when you're looking at a set of irons, because we obviously want the consistency of distance as well. If we're just looking purely at distance, so if we look at the numbers here now, we can see that DynaPwr iron is the longest that we've hit, okay, on this test. And I think down to a couple that I hit that just went ridiculously far. If we look at the spin numbers with all of these irons, you can see that the highest spinning are both AeroJet and Stealth again. And that may have something to do with the fact that they were the easiest to hit straight as well, because any of you that know anything about spin with an iron know that those numbers are very low for spin, okay? So we would want the spin higher than that. Some of it is down to the loft that these irons have, so they're all kind of mid-20s to high 20s in terms of their loft. AeroJet and DynaPwr being the strongest two on our test. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the distances, I mean, we're looking at this like 200 yards is easy to hit with a 7-iron. It shouldn't be really, but you can see every single one of them is around the 200 yard mark or more. The G430 being the shortest, but also the highest launching. From hitting them and standing over the ball and hitting the shots and feeling the strikes, to me, Stealth and AeroJet felt the best. AeroJet felt the easiest to hit and kind of the most forgiving across the face as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. I've absolutely loved testing these. These irons are all absolutely great. But if I was going to pick one, if you held a gun to my head right now, I think AeroJet probably just edges it on looks, feel and performance. But let us know what you think. Drop some comments in the comment section below. More than happy to answer any questions you have about custom fitting or any of the new products that have come out in 2023. And if there's any other irons you think we should have included in this test as well, please let us know. We'd love to reach out to those companies and get them to send us some products to test too. See you all very, very soon, and keep watching all of our content here on the Golfshake YouTube channel to help you play more and play better.